What's going on, everybody? I know it's been a while since I posted anything. It's been kind of a crazy month. October was pretty busy, and with vacation and a new career path coming up, haven't really been focused on the YouTube stuff. But I wanted to come by and make a little video and do a review of Epic Universe. We got to visit, me and the family. We went the first week of October. And as someone who doesn't get to go down to Florida to visit the theme parks very often, even though I'm very in tune with what's going on there, it's just not something that we do very often. I wanted to give my review of the day that we spent at Epic Universe. So without further ado, here is my review of Universal's newest theme park, Epic Universe. So before we get into it, I figured, a lot of people do their reviews who are locals who live in the area. This coming from a guy from the Midwest who only gets to go down there every 3 or 4 years. I figured it's more of an outsider's opinion as to what we thought of the parks. I will say we got tickets for 4. There was 4 of us, and I did purchase the express pass because we only had one day at Epic. And I wanted to make sure we could do everything that we possibly could in that time. So we'll start out with, when you first walk in, Celestial Park. Now, Celestial Park is like the main hub of Epic Universe. There is one main portal that you walk in when you arrive at the park. We got there at around 9:30 in the morning. I think the park opens at 10? Somewhere in there. We got in there like right after park opening. What I will say about this area, it is beautiful. And you're going to hear that word a lot because overall, the design of this park is pretty incredible. Celestial Park is beautiful. It's got this astronomical, if that's a word, astronomy type, feel to it. Everything is based off of like the constellations and things of that nature, and it's beautiful even during the day with the fountains and the pools and the waterfalls, and walking in, your eyes are drawn to the Helios Grand Hotel, which is the hotel that's built literally onto the property, and it's gorgeous, it's stunning. So when you walk in, you kind of branch off. You can either go left and you can go right. The middle of the park there's some walkways that crisscross, but it's a bunch of pools and fountains. And the second you walk in, you get this sense of scale and this just grandiose feel about it. So we took a right, and the first area that we came up to was How to Train Your Dragon. Now, I am not the biggest How to Train Your Dragon fan. I don't think I've seen any of the movies all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, and I have children, and I've just never been into the movies. But when you go through the portal and you enter the Isle of Berk, it is phenomenal. The amount of theming and detail in this land is incredible. Now, we kind of moved quick. There was a lot of stuff we didn't see. We did not get the meet and greet with Toothless. We didn't see like they have like baby animatronic dragons. We didn't see any of that. They may not have been out. We went and immediately hit Hiccup's Wing Gliders, which is the roller coaster, which I'm not a big roller coaster guy, but I went on it because it doesn't look that intense from the videos I've watched. And it was a little more intense than I thought it would be. And that could just be because I'm not a big roller coaster guy, but it was fun. It was super exciting. It's a pretty big roller coaster. It goes throughout like the whole land. So you're zipping by and you see all parts of the land. And when you're walking around the land, this roller coaster comes flying by you. And it's very cool. We had the express pass, like I said. We waited in line maybe 10 minutes. They give you lockers to put all your stuff in, decent sized lockers, and then when you get off the ride, you kind of go around the back side of the lockers and get your stuff back, which is really nice, real convenient. And they were free unless you needed a bigger one. We walked around a little more. They had a lot of animatronic dragons. They had one big one sleeping by a workshop. There's usually a character that'll come out and talk and interact with guests. He wasn't there at the time, but the dragon was still there. It was sleeping. Then it wakes up. Super cool, super lifelike. Just the technology's incredible. We didn't ride anything else. In Berk, they have this thing that looks like the Shell Razor in Mall of America, where you sit in these little things and it kind of swings you on an angle. The Express Pass, that's the only thing in the park that the Express Pass doesn't work for. It's kind of a carnival ride. And then Fire Drill, which is like a water ride where you shoot stuff. It was raining on and off, so I don't know if it wasn't open at the time, but we just didn't do it. We could have spent more time in the land, but I think we were so worried about trying to get everything done in one day. We kind of we did our things and then moved out to the next. So once we left Berk, we headed towards what could be controversial, Stardust Racers. Now, Stardust Racers is like their big attraction that's actually in Celestial Park. It's one of 2 rides that are in Celestial Park. And you may or may not know, a week before we went, 2 weeks before we went, unfortunately, a guest passed away on the ride. I'm not going to get into details. I'm sure there's still an investigation going, but it was kind of an issue because Universal opened the ride, I think 2 days before we got there. And I know there's some controversy with the family and lawsuits or whatever investigation going on. This is a ride that I'm not going to go on. Be honest with you, I get motion sickness, and like I said, I'm not a big roller coaster guy, but my fiance and my oldest went on it in the rain, mind you, and I'm going to put up this photo right here. That's them once they got off the ride. They absolutely loved it. Express Pass, they were on and off the ride probably within 15-20 minutes, and they had an absolute blast. They said it was probably one of the most intense rides they've ever been on, and it's also deceptive. It doesn't look like it's as crazy as it is from the ground, but once you're on it, good times. I'll even throw their ride photo up here too as well. Now, once getting off Stardust Racers, we continued to go counterclockwise around the park, and that led us to Epic Universe's Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now, this land is based on the Fantastic Beasts movies, which I have not seen. I've seen all the Harry Potter movies, never read the books, but this is based in Paris, France. And my oldest, she's a huge French. She loves French. She's learning French. She loves Paris, all that kind of stuff. So I could have done without Harry Potter, but we went because of her. And wow, when you walk through the land and you walk through the arches, this is insane how beautiful and well designed this portal and section of the park is. Now, Harry Potter, as like the other lands in Islands of Adventure and Universal, it's very big up around the interactive stuff where you can buy the wands and you can go through the area and, you know, cast spells, and things in the shops will animate and do stuff because there's only one ride in this land. They have a show and then there's one ride. The Battle at the Ministry ride, while it's very cool, it's like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, the Kuka arm system where it holds, but it's like a big elevator, so you can fit more than 4 people on it. 3.5 hour wait. There is not a snowball's chance in hell that I would wait 3.5 hours for this ride if I didn't have the Express Pass. While it is cool and it's a fun ride, if I never went on it again, don't care. Even with the Express Pass, it took us probably about a half hour to get in. But the queue for this ride is insane. You go in and you go through the Flu network, and you're transported um, into the Ministry of Magic. And this is probably the most obnoxious queue I've ever seen for a ride. And I think it's because they know you're going to be waiting for a very long time. And there's sections where you go through and there's paintings that talk to each other. There's stuff going on. So you're entertained while you're in line because they know you're going to be there for a while. We were in line for about 20 minutes and we heard people saying that they were already there for like 2.5 hours. And not just Harry Potter, I will never wait 2.5 hours for a ride. If I got to wait more than 45 minutes, I don't want to do it. Especially for some of these rides that only last a minute. Now the ride's a decent length and it's incredible. The animatronics, it's, Universal has knocked it out of the park with these rides. I just personally could not wait 3.5 hours for this. And it was at 3.5 hours the majority of the day. So we couldn't even go back to ride it again. Excuse me. Without the express pass, because our express passes were only good for one per ride. We didn't like it enough to wait hours to go see it again. But this land definitely is all about, because it's a decent size, it's just more for the interactive wand stuff, trying to get you to spend some more money on that, which is fine. That's not a big deal. If you're into that, you're into that. I'm personally not, so I rode it one time, so I can say I did, and it's a good ride, but if I never rode it again, wouldn't bother me. Now, after leaving Harry Potter and continuing counterclockwise, we got to Universal Monsters. The Land of Darkmoor, and for me, I am a giant horror movie guy. I love Halloween. I love anything scary. So to have a land that is year-round based on the classic Universal monsters, when they were building this park, this was the area I was most excited about. Darkmoor is creepy. It's, it's dirty. You feel like you're in an old like Frankenstein or Dracula movie. And while the land is not the biggest, it may in fact be the smallest in terms of, where you can actually go. The Frankenstein Castle in the back is the highlight, which is the Monsters Unchained ride. We went through and we walked around for a little bit in the daytime, which it was beautiful in the daytime. And then we took the little one to get her face painted. She got scars and bats and all this stuff put on her. And then the girls rode the Curse of the Werewolf. It's a spinning roller coaster. I didn't go on it again. If I spin, I'm going to vomit. And then I'm done for the entire day. And I spent way too much money to get sick and not enjoy myself. So they went on it. They were on and off the ride probably in 10 minutes. Short line with the Express Pass, and the ride is not very long. They liked it, but they weren't like chomping at the bit to go back on it. After that, we headed to Monsters Unchained. This was the highlight of, I think, our entire trip, this ride. It is based on Victoria Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein's like great-great-granddaughter, trying to control all the monsters. She creates a new Frankenstein, and she's trying to control Dracula. Walking through the queue, through the castle, oh my god, it is gorgeous. It's creepy. Just this sense of like dread as you go through it. And then the pre-show with Igor showing you the ride system, which is the exact same ride system as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. 4 seats on the Kuka arm, goes on the track, moves you around. But this ride is so much more like animatronics, and there's screens in there, but I think there's probably like 18 or 19 life-size animatronics of the Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, Victoria Frankenstein, The Mummy. There's a blink and you'll miss it section where you go under a bell and the Hunchback is in the bell. Didn't notice it the first time we rode it. We rode it a second time and I saw him in there. it's incredible, and the line never got above 15 minutes. I don't know if it's just able to move people through real quick, but it's hands down one of the best rides there, and you can just walk on it. Um, we did come back to Darkmoor at night because my little one, the 9-year-old, wanted to ride Monsters Unchained again. She loved it. She's now in love with Frankenstein. Um, Frankenstein monster. So we came back into Darkmoor at night, and that is a completely different feel. When that is eerie and creepy with the fog and the mist and the lightning shooting through the castle, going through all the wires and the electricity, and it's incredible. It's beautiful. I could have spent all night just in that section. The one downside, the Burning Blade Tavern, which is a windmill. It's a windmill that catches fire every 20 minutes, was not working. It wasn't spinning during the day. It wasn't spinning at night. It wasn't catching fire. That was kind of a bummer. But overall, the monsters section was great, and they have room for an expansion, and they're rumored to have a Creature from the Black Lagoon ride, so here's hoping they add that in the future. And finally, what everybody's been waiting for, Super Nintendo World. The kid in me, who's been playing video games his whole life, I'm 41 years old and started playing on Atari, and the original Super Nintendo, or the original Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo, was one of the, the first games that I played and was into. And to see Nintendo and this Mario world come to life, it is one of the most awe-inspiring things you will ever see. This is a kid's dream, and it's a congested area because there's a ton of people in there, but we did not buy the power-up bands because, like Harry Potter, this whole world is very interactive, and you can hit the coin blocks and you earn points, and there's mini games, and there's all this stuff you can do there. And the little one wanted to do it, but they wanted like $60 for the band, and we could have spent all day in there just doing that, and we didn't have enough time. So we didn't do that, so I can't review, the games or say anything about it because we didn't do it. As far as the rides, we went on the Yoshi little Omnimover thing. You basically get and you sit in a Yoshi, and it takes you kind of around the upper level of Super Nintendo World, and you have to look for Yoshi eggs, and when you see the eggs, you hit that color, and if you find them all, I don't even know what happened, if it did anything. If you had the power-up band, maybe it synced up and you got something for it, points. I don't know. It's a good ride if you need to rest your legs. In the summer, I can see that it's going to be hot and you're going to cook because you're just sitting in this thing the whole time and the sun beating down on you. There's only like one little indoor section, and it doesn't move super fast. So we did that. Then we went to go on the Mario Kart ride. This is a on rails Mario Kart ride. We were about to get on it, and it went down, and we had a dinner reservation, so they gave us express passes to reuse so we could come back because we didn't want to miss our dinner reservation. The cast members were super cool about that. So I thanked them for that. That was very nice of them. And we went, we ate, and then we came back, got on the Mario Kart ride. They give you these augmented reality goggles, and the sets, when you drive around, are real. They're practical sets, but on the goggles is where you see all the other karts and races, and whoever you look at, you hit the buttons on the steering wheel, you turn, and you kind of look at who you want to shoot, and you shoot turtle shells at people, and then you get a score, and the top score wins. I won in our car. I kicked my family's ass. So, yay me. It was fun. It's not the greatest thing. The little one, I don't think she was grasping how you were supposed to do it. She didn't get a very good score, and she's pretty good at video games. So we did that, and then we went to the little side portal that Super Nintendo World has that is Donkey Kong. Now, the Donkey Kong Country area looks like it was ripped right out of the Donkey Kong Country games. They have the little Kong letters everywhere. You can meet Donkey Kong. We didn't. We went in there at night. Super cool looking at night. We didn't get any of the food. We didn't, we were so focused on trying to hit rides and stuff like that. None of us were really hungry, which is weird. We had breakfast and dinner, and that was kind of it. We didn't really snack on anything. I think we were just so caught up in doing stuff. We just weren't hungry. We weren't, but we went on the Donkey Kong Minecart Madness ride. This is a roller coaster that I think Universal's the first to do, where the track is on its side and it holds onto the cart with an arm and runs along a fake track. So, like, if you've played the Donkey Kong Country games, there are minecart levels where you jump track, and that's essentially what this roller coaster does, because you're riding along fake track and the real track's below it. It simulates like you are jumping off the track and moving and stuff like that, and it's cool. It's a rough ride. We got bounced around. It's not the smoothest ride, but it's fun, and it's way more intense than I thought it would be. Again, as a guy who's not a big roller coaster fan, near the end of the ride, there's a pretty big drop and kind of curve, and it made my stomach go. Fun. I love it. I would ride it again. But it was just a blast. And this ride had a long wait time, too. It was like 110 minutes. So without the express pass, again, I don't know if it's worth it. It's tough for me to say. We don't go all the time, so if I was there all the time and I was local and I was going to wait in line, sure, maybe today I'll wait in line the hour because I can come back next weekend. But going every 3 or 4 years, I'd rather pay the money and just be able to ride the stuff. And I'm usually against the express pass stuff, but they got me. But yeah, Super Nintendo World, Donkey Kong Country, phenomenal. Just like everything else, the theming is perfect and beautiful, and again, Universal knocked it out of the park. So upon leaving Super Nintendo World, the little one, like I said, she wanted to go ride Monsters Unchained again. It was only a 15-minute wait. We literally walked through the queue and got right back on. She loved it. And before we left, we kind of just hung out. We went and rode the carousel that's in Celestial Park, the other ride, along with Stardust Racers. It's a like free-flowing carousel. Like the poles for the animals and stuff are like in the ground, and they like spin and you go backwards and stuff. It's pretty unique. It's short. It's very short. But this is where I think Epic Universe shined. At night, it was absolutely stunning. The lighting, the colors, the atmosphere, the fountains, just every portal lit up. Every portal had a spotlight that shot up into the sky, and they all met in like one spot. It was super cool. And it was really beautiful. Like, it was the end of the night. We were tired. I didn't want to go. I kind of wanted to just keep walking around the park because it was just beautiful to look at. But it was a long day for the family, and we got some nice photos on the way out. And, it was a nice quick walk out to the parking lot. And my fiance, she's not a very big Disney Universal theme park person. Even she wants to go back to Epic Universe. She loved it. She thought it was amazing. So, for the cost, all these theme parks are expensive. Everything's overpriced. I know that. You know that. But Epic Universe is definitely someplace that I would go back to, and the family wants to go back to, and I would be happy spending more than one day there, because other than the rides, there is a lot to do. There's a lot to see. There's a ton of stuff I'm sure we didn't even notice, pay attention to, small details, and I think that if you're able to get a couple days there, you definitely get your money's worth. If you haven't gone yet, I know it hasn't been open that long, less than a year. I highly recommend getting down to Epic Universe, checking it out. I know Disney's still the big dog down there, but Universal's heading in the right direction, and if they can keep doing what they're doing at Epic and implement that in their other parks while adding on to Epic, I think they're going to give Disney a run for their money. So I hope you enjoyed this little review. If you want to hear more about anything specifically, let me know. I can make another video. Didn't want to make this too long. I'm sure it probably is. So if you're still with me and you're still here and you're enjoying the content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.